Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Nerd Week Live here on YouTube, brought to you by the good folks at Nerd Caliber. I am Rodney Brown. I'm the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber. I'm the little tiny blue box person up in the corner of your image. That's even smaller than normal this week. What's up, Skype? What? Anyway. And I'm also first-person shooter as a cosplay photographer, Burly Adopter on Twitter. It's Burly_adopter. For those of you who are desperately seeking to tag me, which somebody was recently and took forever. But anyway, joining me tonight is the ever stalwart Luffy Von Captain. Anyway, introduce yourself, Byron.
Hello, friends, internet dwellers. Your boy Byron D0, the dashing rogue of the internet. I have my own little podcast, which is called The Weeb Trash Can, which I talk about anime with my various peeps. I also do some streams on Twitch under the moniker Byron D0. Look for the fedora pirate skull with the paintbrush and the quill in the back. It looks like skull. It looks like Luffy's skull on the background there.
All right, and folks, it looks to me like for some strange reason, chat is not enabled. I'm looking at it on the view page, and I don't see that. In fact, it says chat is disabled. So I'm looking to see how I can fix that. Give me a second here before we jump into our stuff. Yeah, oh, there it is. Oh, chat is there. All right.
Good to go.
Well, let me look back over here. Chat is not showing up on this window. That never happens. So back to here, and we're going to pop chat out in a new window so I can see it. And as it's loading, folks, I'm just making silly noises.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Exactly. The man behind the curtain who is not seeing any chat there either. All right. So, Hack, welcome to the show. Springtrap, welcome. Novi Draws, welcome. Soraya, welcome. I'll have to do it this way. And if I miss some of your stuff because we've got a much smaller chat window than normal, I do apologize. Let me try this pop-out chat. I'm doing it one more time, folks. I'm sorry. Nope. Wow. All right, YouTube. Get on your game. So before we get into our first topics, I am going to do some shameless promotion, and that is of our panel challenge event, actually, coming up at PAX East. It's going to be Friday night, March 29th, 8 p.m. in the Bobcat Theater, as it says on our wonderful graphic made by the wonderful graphic designer, Bethany Maddock. This is...
She does great work.
She does awesome work. This is a challenge in which we team up a single cosplayer and a single photographer randomly to make a team that will then have 45 minutes to go out and make an image that best exemplifies a topic from a range of topics that we bring that is voted on by the audience. So this is a really random challenge for cosplayers and photographers to get together to try to create something that they think is the best image on that topic. They have 45 minutes. They bring it back to the panel room, and our panel of experts-ish will then critique the images, and we will name a best image. As of right now, we don't yet have any prizes. We're looking at sponsors to try to get some. But this has traditionally been a non-prize event anyway, because it's sponsored by the Cosplay and Photography Expo, Nerd Caliber's own teaching event. And when we do our teaching event, we don't want people to compete for prizes. We want people to get together and learn. So our panelists who are going to be critiquing myself, the guy who created this idea, Wonder Llama Photography, our associate editor here, the amazing cosplayer and graphic designer, Bethany Maddock, recently one of the people named as an official Mortal Kombat cosplay representative by NetherRealms. You might have seen her at the launch announcement thing from Las Vegas. And the amazing K Elysium Entertainment. His photography is out of this world. Um, so, if you're a cosplayer, if you're a photographer, come on over and either watch the insanity go down or participate if you'd like to. But now we are going to be moving on. Hold on a second here. I'm hiding a couple of obviously pointless messages. We're going to move on to our very first topic. And our very first topic is Captain Marvel. Not a whole lot that
Yes.
we're going to be saying. Yes, yes is yes. We're not going to talk a lot about this. We're certainly not going to talk about the movie, although Byron's review is up there if you want to see it. Spoiler
Yes.
free, as always.
Yep. That's what I do.
That's what he does. Um, then go to nerdcaliber.com and check it out. But the news is that it killed it at the box office. Despite the best attempts at people who are too stupid to be allowed to breed, trying to bring this thing down, it made $455 million worldwide, the best opening ever for a female-led movie. $153 million domestically. It's the seventh largest domestic opening for a Marvel movie out of 21, now if you count this. So that's outstanding. The second highest domestic opening for a solo Marvel Cinematic Universe character debut. So, in other words, Iron Man, Captain America, the First Avenger, etc., behind only last year's Black Panther. It killed it. And it killed, because of killing it, all of the naysayers.
And that's really all. That's really all I can ask for from a movie like this. Was it? Was it the best film? No, it wasn't. But it was. It was definitely worth the money if you paid to see it.
Yep,
And
yep.
that's really all you can ask for. I mean, yeah, it's been a very divisive film since its inception, and everything leading up to it has led to a greater split.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of disagree there that it hasn't been a divisive film, except that it's divided, in a way, kind of thankfully, reasonable people from total asshats. Um, but just before we go, Jackson, welcome. Luminous, welcome. Gamer Critic, welcome. Um, and Gamer Critic, yes, Mortal Kombat 11 is coming out April 23rd. We're
Yep.
all looking forward to that.
Woo!
And Luminous went opening day and it was sold out. Good to know, Luminous. I haven't been yet because it was snowing the day I was supposed to go, so Byron went the other day. Um, and that's me crying a little. But I plan to go this week. I definitely have to see this. So yeah, yay, Captain Marvel. Good on you.
Mm-hmm.
Our next bit of news. That is actually it's just Gundam Breaker, but that's from the Gundam series. The news is that there is going to be a live-action movie Gundam, and it is going to be written by none other than Brian K. Vaughan. Now, if you don't know who Brian K. Vaughan is, Why the Last Man, uh,
Ah.
Ex Machina, Runaways, which if you're not watching that on Hulu right now, the Hulu adaptation of his series Runaways, go do that. It's awesome. But the other thing that Brian K. Vaughan is really known for recently, he says as he's trying to figure out where this window is that right there, Saga.
Oh my
The most
word.
well-reviewed space opera, sci-fi, drama, comic book in the last 5 years anyway. Um, if you want somebody who's going to write Gundam type space opera drama, Brian K. Vaughan is your guy.
I second that emotion, like real talk, especially for my weeb trash behind. I'm all in for this. It's like as soon as you said Saga, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, that dude.
oh, yeah.
So now he's got a series adaptation of Y the Last Man coming up, and he's now writing the Gundam movie for Legendary and just to make sure the Sunrise, which is the company behind all this, behind the Gundam everything, is co-producing this. So this is, you know, this is 100% with the authorization and blessing of the original Gundam creators, or at least the company that owns them.
Yeah. So, especially like if he like with his level of talent, I can see him doing some amazing stuff with like the narrative of the 1 Year War.
There's so much Gundam out there. That's kind of the problem. Is it going to be like an origin story, which actually was a much later Gundam arc,
Yeah.
or is it going to be right up in the height in the middle, like basically the original Gundam story? Um, is it going to be a Gundam related like Iron Blooded Orphans? Um, there's just so much Gundam material out there to draw from.
I feel Mobile Suit Gundam would be the best bet because it's such a timeless story.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a timeless story, and it's a narrative that anyone who likes complex war stories can understand.
and it is complex. And I have to say, I love this about the Gundam series. Um, Even though you have to buy the idea that at this point in the future, people are fighting with these giant, mechs. Um, it's science fiction. You can buy that. Outside of that, there's no faster than light travel. Everybody's stuck in the solar system. If you're out in a spaceship and cruising around and you're not under thrust, you're in zero G. People float. Please, in the live action, make people float like they do in the animes, or like they do in the Expanse, beautifully.
Yeah, I would say the only thing I would ask them to tone down is the concept of the new type. If they do, like, if they do Mobile Suit, the the UC narrative.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It they do get into sort of the a bit of the overpowered, the OP um, versions, but again, that's part of what creates the drama. You know,
Yeah.
um, but anyway, enough about Gundams. I don't think there's any announcement in here about a time frame. Nope, 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 nope. Um, so we don't know when this is going to happen. I doubt that it could be as early as 2020 if he's just starting to write it. So
Yeah,
my guess is we're looking at a 2021 movie.
at least. And if Elite is any indication, I'm willing to hedge my bets on. I'm willing to bet money on it.
That it will take a while or that it will be good.
That'll be good.
You got Brian K. Vaughan. You know, granted, he could write an excellent script, and whoever they get as a director could be just garbage. But I'm definitely willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. Um, Moving on to our next topic. Um, and that is the latest trailer for Good Omens. The final, I don't know if it's the final, the actual official full trailer for Good Omens dropped, and you should go watch this, folks. It's wonderful. The cast is amazing. It's funny. You should go watch the trailer. The show doesn't show up until May 31st, unfortunately. We have to wait until the end of May, but Michael Sheen is absolutely fantastic. David Tennant as the demon there is wonderful. The side character's great. But John Hamm, in his three little bits, steals this whole trailer completely. He's hilarious. Isn't that a great photo, Luminous? Yeah, I wish I took that, but no, that's a official studio photo.
I love the visuals they have going on in this trailer. Gets me really excited. I love David in hair
Yes,
as well.
I love
We
the
finally get, Ginger.
Yeah, and in the flashbacks, he's got like the longer rock star hair, and now he's
Yes.
got like the big poof. It's really cool. Um, yeah, so May 31st is when the show debuts on Amazon Prime. Um, Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett wrote the book. Neil Gaiman is producing this, so you know it's true to form to the book as best they could do. So look forward to it, and check out the trailer if you haven't yet. All right, this just popped just a couple hours before the show. Hadn't even heard boo about this, but guess what? Warner Brothers is making a film adaptation of what was apparently an incredibly successful Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book
Yeah.
limited series that ran 2016-ish, 2017.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks like they go like they're definitely like the way the turtles are designed. They look like they taken a lot of references from the Peter Laird run of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the voice talent is amazing. Like Troy Baker is working double duty. He is voicing the Joker and Batman, which is a first.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I didn't get that deep into it, but wow. John DiMaggio as Mr. Freeze, Tara Strong as Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Kenny. SpongeBob is going to be the Penguin.
I believe he was the Penguin in the WB The Batman series as well.
Oh, cool. Uh, Cass Anvar. This is a big one for me. From The Expanse is going to be Ra's al Ghul. Um,
Ooh.
I'm really looking forward to that. And you got other characters here. Rachel Bloom as Batgirl. Parks and Rec's Jim Meskimen as Commissioner Gordon. All right, that's a little interesting. Um, it looks really cool. I would definitely say, I am very excited to see this. There have been some, like I have not yet seen um, Ninja Batman. I've not yet seen Batman Harley Quinn.
I haven't seen that one either.
You know, they're kind of just not grabbing me. Uh,
Batman Ninja is fun for the novelty of it.
yeah, true. I suppose this grabs
Uh,
me. This just and the way they're treating, like you said, the way they're treating the turtles, both in the design style and the voice characterizations.
yes.
Yeah, this I like.
And you don't have to wait long for it. It comes out at the end of March.
That's true. Probably will be available to stream or rent on something because it comes out direct to DVD, Blu-ray stream release. That's not going to get any kind of a theatrical release. So you can probably buy it. Hopefully, you'll be able to rent it on Amazon Prime or something, right out of the gate.
Which I'm totally here for that.
Totally. Now, here's something I'm here for. If it's true, I'm really hoping this is true.
Yep.
That is Idris Elba. And there's a lot of pictures out of there that I could have chosen for Idris Elba. I was actually looking for some from The Losers where he's got guns. But that is, in fact, from Pacific Rim, and in this case, he's in an armored suit. And the reason I chose this one is because the rumor out there is that he is going to be playing Deadshot in the Suicide Squad 2 movie. Now, I looked this up after, or actually a couple hours before we went live here tonight, and there is nothing new beyond the original Variety story back on March 6th and all of the wave of quoting Variety stories that still say it's a done deal, even though Variety said according to inside sources. So, editors,
Grain of salt. Huge grain of salt, people.
huge grain of salt. Well, it's Variety. Variety has a lot of inside, and one other source said they had two other independent confirmations, which they also could not say. So there
Mm.
is another source that is using Variety, and supposedly two other of its own sources that say this is happening. Um, but Weeabo, how you doing? Um, I hope it's. I really hope it's happening. I think that would be an awesome, awesome
Yes.
choice to replace Will Smith.
It's a shame that he's leaving, but yes, he would be a fantastic replacement.
Yeah, it is a shame that he's leaving, and I'm not really sure why. Um, uh, d- 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 all right, moving on to our next topic, and that is this other rumor. That comic that you're looking at right there is one of the many Marvel Comics What If series.
Oh boy.
And in this case, that one is What If Flash Thompson became Spider-Man instead of Peter Parker. The What If series been running since the early 70s, and it's essentially Marvel's version of DC's Elseworlds. Elseworlds is sort of like, what if, um, what if the
Superman
United
in
States never seceded from Great Britain, and then they take what would Batman be like, and that's where you get that. Or what if Batman was around the time of Jack the Ripper, which is the Gotham by Gaslight. Um,
or it's Superman in Atlanta in Russia instead of America,
which is the
and you
Red
get
Sun.
Superman's son.
Yeah, that's the Red Sun series. So the rumor out here is that, and this is coming from Slash Film, that Marvel will be producing a television series for the Disney Plus streaming service based on the What If comic book series.
That's
Um, it'll be
awesome.
it will be awesome. It'll be animated. It'll be overseen and run by Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios, the TV or the movie production studio. But they will not be based in the MCU because they're what if stories.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. I think that's a wonderful way to do, in addition to what they're also already doing with the very connected MCU. I think it'd be a wonderful way to do what DC has decided to do now with its movie properties, which is pretty much, yeah, we're
Yeah.
not going to worry so much about making sure that they're connected like the MCU is. And so you can get things like the um, Joaquin Phoenix Joker, um, which obviously is going to have absolutely no connection to the Suicide Squad 2 reboot. Or, well, kind of reboot, they say. Um, and just to give you an idea of some of the story ideas that could be touched on, this is a what if title. What if the Silver Surfer got the Infinity Gauntlet?
Ooh.
So yeah, they have some really. I mean, there's some. The first one was what if Peter Parker, or what if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four right out of the gate, and it was always the Fantastic Five. And that's a
Yeah. What
fun
if
sort of
Spider-Man
story.
became the Punisher?
Hmm?
Or what if Spider-Man became the Punisher? One of my favorites.
That's what if Spider-Man became the Punisher. That's an awesome one. The image didn't work right for cropping, unfortunately. I almost picked that one as an example. Um, what if the X-Men died on their very first mission? It's, things like that. There's a lot of really interesting stories that they explore. I hope this one. This is another rumor. I hope that I really hope is true, because it would. Assuming they're doing this every week, you're talking about, let's say they do 15 episodes or whatever. Typical streaming service, 12. That's 12 what if stories, back to back.
Oh yes. And if it's going to be on the streaming service, they don't have to worry about censorship. Similar to how DC is doing with Young Justice.
Um, that is true, although it's Disney Plus. And Disney Plus has
Yeah.
already said that they will not be doing R-rated content on the streaming service.
Ah, right.
Luminous, I always enjoyed What If when I read it in the 1980s. I think Frank Miller did an issue about Daredevil. I think you're right. In my searches for this, the only thing I saw, Frank Miller did do a cover artwork for one of the what if Jean Grey as the Phoenix never died. That's one of the great what if things, is that a lot of them are like, what if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four? Well, he did at one point, long after that comic came out. You know, what if Jean Grey never died? Well, she came back. You know, it's and plus they got other Phoenix type beings. I mean, you had Rachel Summers and
Yes.
so.
My first what if story as a kid was what if Punisher killed Daredevil?
Ooh,
Yes, that was like in the that was like in the mid '90s for me too.
yeah, that's good. I like that idea. I'd like to see that. I haven't read that one. There's a lot of what ifs that happened after like the late 1970s, which is about when I stopped collecting for the first time before I got back into it, that I never read. Um,
Oh, and another one of my favorites. What if the Punisher became Venom?
yes,
The fun one.
another fun-looking one. I haven't read it, but also one that just, you know, the artwork was very cool, but didn't lay itself out to be able to put it in a horizontal format. Sadly. So, fingers crossed, everybody. Let's hope this is the case. Um, Moving on to our next. This is, in fact, not a rumor. This is news, and I am so far beyond pumped. That is an image from the classic 1981 movie Time Bandits, and the news is that Taika Waititi is going to do a series about Time Bandits with Terry Gilliam as an executive producer, along with Waititi being the producer. In case you don't know, Taika Waititi, Thor Ragnarok, and also the movie What We Did in the Shadows, and executive producing the series that's about to come out, What We Did in the Shadows. And Terry Gilliam, of course, Brazil and Time Bandits, and Adventures of Baron Munchausen, and so many
Yes.
brilliant, brilliant movies. The Fisher King, if you want to see one of the most amazing, very slightly fantastical dramas out there, watch that. Probably the best performance Robin Williams ever did, and that's saying something.
Indeed.
Um, but if you haven't seen Time Bandits, please, folks, watch this. Luminous, what if the what if Howard the Duck joined the Fantastic Four? God, I hope that was a comic. I'm gonna have to dig that one up if that's true. But anyway, Time Bandits. So I've got some questions about this. As you can see right out of the gate here, the Time Bandits. So the story of Time Bandits are they're these group of essentially maintenance workers for heaven who steal a time map from the Supreme Being, basically God, to be able to travel through time and steal stuff.
Wow.
And they accidentally run into a little kid from London who who gets swept up in their adventures. And it has John Cleese as Robin Hood. It has Sean Connery as Agamemnon. It has David Warner as evil, basically Satan. Which, if you're not familiar with him or with Time Bandits, he is the Cardassian that tortured Picard.
Really?
That's David Warner. He's an amazing actor.
I know. Yeah, he was different. He's been a big on my radar for years as a kid. As like the first voice of Zarn for Captain Planet as well.
Yes, good call. I forgot about that. That's definitely him. Um, but the question is, are they going to cast the bandits as dwarfs, which they all were in the movie? Um, I would like to see them do that, but I'm not terribly concerned if they don't. I mean, you know, six very wacky people could certainly pull this off, whether they're six very wacky little people or not. That said, it's a beautiful series. Tyler, how you doing? There's your shout out. and welcome to the show. And I'm going to mute myself. And I'm back from that cough.
Yeah.
Um, but I also think it would be a wonderful example of giving really good roles. Because while they're all pretty silly looking right here, their characterizations are pretty good in the movie. Some of them have some pretty deep stuff. Mr. Krakowian, it's kind of crazy. Um, you know, just imagine John Cleese as Robin Hood as the most pompous, officious bureaucrat you've ever encountered. That's the way he plays him. It's beautiful. Um, but anyway, I mean, obvious casting would be Peter Dinklage
Mm.
as the one in the middle is Randall, and that's the leader of the group. But Kenny Baker is in there. Um, you know,
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. And I would like to see that as an opportunity to cast more quality dwarf or little people actors. Uh, but I'm also not gonna be pissed off if they don't. Warwick Davis was not in that, oddly enough, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was filmed at a time when he was committed to something else. You would think Mr. Kirkhowie asked, was Warwick Davis in that? No, he wasn't. You would think that would make sense. Came out in 1981, so it would have been filmed right around the time when he was. And Kenny Baker was free, even though he had just done Empire at that point.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask, didn't Jedi come out around that time? I guess not.
I think Jedi was a year later or 2 years later. Somebody
Hmm.
out there check that for me or correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but yeah, so I'm not sure, Mr. Kirkhowie, and why Warwick Davis wasn't in this, but you're right, it would have made sense. I don't think they missed him in that all of these guys do an excellent job, but he certainly would have been a fun addition. Uh,
Looking at a picture of John Cleese in this Robin Hood getup is hilarious.
oh God, it has like so many. So it was written by Terry Gilliam and Michael Palin, and Michael Palin plays a character who's basically robbed by Robin Hood and the Merry Men. So just a character they made up, and it's just the most non sequitur, completely out there dialogue with Shelley Duvall as his betrothed. Um, and
Yeah.
it's just there's so much hilarious stuff. The recently deceased Catherine Hellman as the the much put upon wife of this giant ogre. It's wonderful performances. I can't think of anybody who could do justice to that kind of insanity other than Taika Waititi.
Very true. I'm totally on board for this. If it with his mad mind.
Oh, just think of the kind of written dialogue and ad lib stuff that was Korg. All of Korg's, you know, you know, piss off, ghost, stuff like that. It was just like so perfect for this.
Indeed.
Anyway, we don't have a ton more details about timing or anything like that. Oh, you know what? I did forget to mention the one really terrible, awful, bad. Gosh, why are they doing this aspect of this? It's going to be on Apple.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm hoping, since it's also Paramount is producing it because they have the rights to the movie, I'm really hoping that Paramount makes a deal and puts it on something. I hope that is part of somebody else's streaming service, whether it's Hulu or whatever. Because God, I will not get an iTunes subscription just for this.
No, thank you.
So please,
I'm
Paramount, save my bacon. All right, moving on to our last topic, and that is the last season. It was announced. If you're an Arrow
Oh,
fan, I'm sure you've already seen this. It was announced that next season, season 8, is going to be a short season, 10 episodes, and it's going to be the final season of Arrow. Um, there's an awful lot to wonder about this. Uh,
in,
I mean, is it that Berlanti is having such success with the DC Universe stuff that it's time to start pulling some things in? Um,
it could be that. Honestly, for me, the show kind of jumped the shark after like season 3 or 4. Which season was the one where Laurel got the arrow through the stomach?
Later than that, I think. I think that was like 5 or 6. But honestly, I've been up and down on Arrow for the last few seasons. I couldn't tell you for sure um, exactly, when any particular thing happened. I can tell you that I love some of the villains, some of the cast members they've had playing villains in the last few seasons, and I still haven't been able to stick with it consistently through those seasons. Um, and that's going some. I mean, I really like the actors that they've had doing the big bads, and even they weren't enough to keep me going with this because it's a little scattershot at this point.
Absolutely.
Uh,
It's been a bit of a it's been up and down. The loyal fans have stuck with it all the way through, but nothing lasts forever.
This is true. Is it Amell? Did Stephen Amell decide he'd had it after 8 seasons? I will say it looks like, and this is not my idea. Um, so thank you for, I believe it was Rick who mentioned this when I made a post about this. Um, that it looks like they are going to take this right up until the already teased and announced Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover event that will happen. That will happen at the mid-season break, so in December of next year. No, I'm sorry, December of this year. So December 2019 is when the big CW crossover event will happen. My guess is the Crisis on Infinite Earths will see the end of Ollie. Um,
That would be something.
that would be something. It has the potential of being really impressive. Uh, it will be interesting to see whether or not they use that Crisis on Infinite Earths to bring Supergirl and Batwoman into the same timeline, the same dimension as Flash and Legends of Tomorrow, or are they going to keep them separate? Um, so, oh, actually, they're not separate. The Batwoman does take place in the Flash Arrow universe
Oh,
because they kept referencing Batman. Where's Batman? Why hasn't anybody seen him in a couple of years, et cetera, et cetera. When they did the intro of Batwoman in the previous crossover a couple of months ago.
ah,
So this is pretty big, and it will be interesting to see whether or not this means that Berlanti and CW, or at least the W part of the CW, the Warner Brothers, is going to be pulling more of their content, either pulling it over to DC Universe, the streaming service, or letting it sort of run itself out and die, and then spawning something else on DC Universe with those resources.
either way, that would be pretty cool to see some of the Arrowverse into like bleed over into that.
I think it would be great to see Batwoman do it because you could get even more adult, mature themes than the already pretty wonderful concept of just creating a character who is openly lesbian. Not creating, but portraying a character that is openly lesbian. But you could have more of the violence that was a part of the book if it goes over to DC Universe. I don't think they're doing that. If they launch it on CW, they must have a commitment from CW for at least a couple of seasons. But we'll see, where this goes. If I were a betting man, I would say this probably is going to be the start of the winnowing down of the CW DC products. Warner Brothers and DC only has so much money. Well, that's not true. Now that they're part of Comcast, they have all the money in the world. but but then again, that may also. So here's an aside, folks, and this is not. It's only tangential to this, but when Comcast bought Time Warner and got Warner Brothers, along with so many other things, Comcast has long tried to make its Xfinity app a particular streaming platform. Are they going to kill DC Universe eventually? Or are they going to make Xfinity app sort of a catch-all aggregator of their own streaming products? Like CNN Go and like what else is under the Warner Brothers? Turner Classic Movies. There's a streaming app for that. What else did they buy in that acquisition? Anyway, but also DC Universe. We don't know. A lot of people at Warner Brothers have, a lot of top executives at Warner Brothers have taken a header after this purchase. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Indeed.
But,
Well,
oh, good.
I'm saying, only time will tell, right?
Only time will tell. Only time and money will tell. Speaking of time, we have run up to our time. That was our last topic, folks. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for the chat. Excellent questions in there. Excellent observations. I didn't have anything on a could we please or could we not. Byron, anything on your end?
Not so much could we please, but I do want to do a little shout out. This weekend, I will be, if you're in the Lowell, Chelmsford area, Massachusetts, I will be at Mill Number 5, which is the big marketplace in the city. I'll be at their Harry Potter themed marketplace event called Diagonally, which is a play on the term Diagon Alley. If you're a fan of Harry Potter, you want to buy some cool local artisan Harry Potter themed stuff, check out some Harry Potter films, get a craft beer, meet other fans. It's going to be a good time. I'll be there in my Ravenclaw attire. Come say hi.
And just in case anybody is wondering about that, the reason it's called Diagonally is if you actually tried to do commercial promotion of an event using the actual term Diagon Alley, you would get your ass sued into the dirt.
Yep.
They've done that before, so you don't mess with the J.K. Rowling.
That's
Anyway.
another Warner Brothers IP, too.
That is true. Ooh, that's a good point. Anyway, thank you, folks. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next week. And have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye.